Isaiah 14:14. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Verse 15. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. Verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners? Esau, the so-called white man, right? First and foremost, all praises to Abanoah Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakak. Double honors to the apostles, elders, elder bishops of Great Millstone, and a hearty shalom to the prophets of that body, and shalom to the 144,000 and 1/3. May peace and blessings be upon you and your households. Shalom, peace be unto you. We're going home soon. All right, keep that in mind. Things are happening. Yahweh Shem Mashai is not a man that he should lie. The Lord is working. Things are happening. Right? So Esau, okay, always wants to be like the Most High, mimic the Most High, okay? But Esau, the so-called white man, is like Iron Man, all right? Like Tony Stark. He's only so powerful, all right? Only so powerful, all right? Esau's like Batman. He's only so powerful, all right? These damn devils think that they can go against the creator that created them. The creation thinks they can take on the creator, right? And they're trying to mimic the Lord, you know? Elon Musk, he says he wants to create a symbiosis, which basically means a natural sort of you know how what do you call that thing? You know how machinery takes over, you know, and everything just clicks over perfectly, you know, in perfect harmony. The way nature, with the way nature is supposed to be. For example, in the sea, you got your lawful fish, and you got your unlawful, unclean things. The unclean things are there to keep the water clean, right? And then you've got the lawful fish that we could eat, you know, because that's what the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yashai says. That's perfect harmony if left alone under the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yashai, the way it's supposed to be. It's perfect harmony, right? Esau thinks that he can create his own artificial method of harmony, a symbiosis, right? And hence reason why Elon Musk has got 10,000 patients signed up. And as you know, he's been promoting the brain CHIP. And we know, pursuant to Revelation 13:16, it is stated in there, what Yahweh Hashem Yashai said, that these, paraphrasing of course, these powers that be will try to put a mark upon you, or mark in you, which is in charagmaa, which means insertion, etching, or cutting into the flesh. Okay? Now, these devils are going to, they want to be like the Lord. They want to control you, want to be all-knowing, want to be all-seeing. They want to know what you're spending, how you're spending it, what you've got in your account. They want to know all these things. That's why they've got everything that's vital within those digital ID cards or wallets, right? That's why everything's going digital, because they want to know what's the vital parts of people in this world, what they think, what they're doing, how much they have, their medical records, their driving license records, you know, all these kinds of government-based activities. They want to know what you're doing, and also your personal thoughts, what you're doing, who you're doing it with, who you're doing it to, right? They want to be like that. They want to CHIP you. They want to control you. And within those CHIPs, which I believe, which the elders have touched on, elders of Great Millstone and the prophets, that there's probably something released in there, like a chemical as well, or something that clicks over, which makes you think that you're in perfect bliss all the time. That's why even in certain movies, they show you that the people that have been CHIP'd are kind of like zombies, and they've always got like a demonic grin on their face. And a lot of people that have been having dreams and visions, okay, as the Lord said that, the dreams and visions will be sent out, right? I think it's Joel 2:28 is mentioned, right, as well as other scriptures, right? That people have been saying the same thing also, that they have a demonic grin on their face, All right. So Esau wants to be like the so-called Esau wants to be like the Most High. All right. But the Lord is going to bring these devils down. And once they're in slavery, or they're sitting on the floor with dirt on their face, you know, people look upon them narrowly, saying, they'll be saying that these were the people that actually ruled over us. It's like me. I look at Elam, Elam eating turd sandwiches and shit, right? Pardon my French there, right? And the way they're so frail looking. And I look at these people thinking to myself, these Elamites ruled over us? I said, these people ruled over us, you know? 1144, right? These people ruled over us. It's like that, the same feeling. All right, and my family are from that part of the world, northern India, of course. All right, but the northern Indians, I look the ones that are Jake. Well, Jake can look like anything, but or anybody, but the ones in northern India, they look, everyone's not the same. Put it that way. There's a big physical difference, right? And I look at these Edomites thinking, these motherfuckers ruled over us. It's like these devils now. I still look at them right now. I said, look at these Edomites. These motherfuckers ruled over us. That's I'm thinking that now. How much more when they fall? But these devils are proud, man. They are proud. They are proud. Esau is trying to entice you, man. He thinks you're a bitch. He thinks you're a woman. He's trying to get into your drawers. He's trying to penetrate. He's trying to let you hear all these sweet things and whispering these sweet nothings in your ears and say, I'll do this for you and do that for you. He's trying to take your panties off, man. I hate to use that analogy, but that's the way it is. He's trying to entice you with these words, and the women are going to fall for it first because they're so fickle, right? And their men are going to follow suit, all right? And the technology that he's pushing is obviously for people that have disabilities, and that's going to be a market that this technology is going to corner, along with people that want to have this kind of like super powery kind of power. Well, they want to have some kind of superpower, right? People are going to take that too. People that have money, they want to invest in themselves. And then you got also the other factor as well, where people want to enhance themselves. People are fascinated with power, right? And then you got the other factor as well, where you got tech heads. You got people that want to CHIP their children because they're worried about them getting kidnapped. There's that market, which Esau's probably going to touch on soon as well. Maybe stage a couple of heavy kidnappings of children. I mean, that's already happening on a huge basis anyway, right? Okay. Then you also got the financial infrastructure. When that crashes, then it's not going to be a choice. It's going to be, as a lot of people have been saying, especially in India with the digital ID, it's mandatory. All right? It's mandatory. 1 Peter 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. All right? He wants to devour you, man. All right? Okay? As I mentioned, the way the serpent beguiled Eve, the same way the serpent right now, that his counterpart, the so-called white man, is beguiling, the people, like they always do. They're trying, this is a solution. It's like they give you medication. Oh, this is meant to take your headaches away, and you'll be okay in 2 hours or whatever. All right. And then you read the fine print, which you can just about read. Even sometimes a magnifying glass doesn't even help. And I always get the magnifying glass out, right? You can just about read it, especially when you're getting up in age. Even those glasses don't help. And the fine print always says that, oh, you might have problems with this and problems with that. So basically, you heal 2 things, or you heal 1 thing, and you get 3 more problems added to it. Just like they always show in movies. What was that movie, Upgrade, where the guy was in the wheelchair? It was like an answer to his prayers, right? Yeah. He got into beef or whatever. He was with his woman, and they somebody done him in from what I recollect in the movie, right? He couldn't walk, he couldn't move, He was like a shell of a man. And then You know, he was like as kind of like a superhero. He was, he was deleting people, but then nobody believed that it could be him because the wheelchair was like his Clark Kent suit. You know, but in the end, what happened? The AI, the technology took over. He was not himself no more. He was completely immersed in the fire of Molech, man. You know, if I can say it that way. He was completely walked. He walked into that 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 satanic den. You know, he was completely immersed in it. A demon took over. 2 Corinthians 11:3. But I fear lest by any means, as a serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety, so your minds should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Hamashiach. All right, got to be careful, man. You know. Um, Actually, I'll read that one last. Let's go to the news. Elon Musk's Neuralink says 10,000 patients have signed up for its brain CHIP. Tech billionaire wants to use implants to achieve a sort of symbiosis with artificial intelligence. Right, I think the definition, let's get the definition so you can see it for yourselves. A definition of symbiosis: interaction between two different organisms living in close physical association, typically to the advantage of both. Well, in this case, the advantage of the government so they can control you. But like I said, they're going to entice you, man. The way the serpent beguiled Eve, that's what they're trying to do right now. They're whispering all these sweet nothings in your ears. This is the future. This is how it's going to be. You know, the future is bright. The future is technology, shit like that. You know, maybe even showing you these futuristic shows or movies. You know, where everything works seamlessly, immaculate apartments and everything, but you're just a shell of a person. Everybody living like the Jetsons. But it's not going to be like that. All right. That's if Esau's not going to get his NWO, off the ground to a complete level. He may think he might, but he's not gonna. But they're going to try and promote that haven for people that are going through hell. All right. Actually, now's a good time to read that scripture. 2 Corinthians 11:14. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Right. Satan tries to do the equivalent of the Most High, even though Satan works for Yahweh Bashem Yashai. On the left-hand side, he's doing what he's supposed to do, right? But he's the contrary of righteousness. So therefore, an example would be we have our blood sacrifices on the right-hand side, bullocks, lambs, etc., and you got these damn devils on the left-hand side. Who did they blood sacrifice? Damn it, babies, humans, right? That's their thing. So they're trying to do the equivalent. So this is like an angelic light to some people, man. All right, especially the people that have got disabilities, afflictions. 2 Corinthians 11:14. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. So a lot of people are going to be enticed, and this is a good sign because this goes to show that we're right at the end, and the charagmaa being implemented. They've already got the hand part taken care of in Revelation 13:16. Right? It mentions your right hand and your forehead. Okay, so Elon is taking care of the forehead part, and then you've got places like Sweden, right, that are leading the way in the hand part. So you can see the hand, the right hand, and the forehead being mentioned. All right, and other parts of the world are going to follow suit. Right? Because you take it either place, you're fucked. All right, we don't care about the heathen; they're going to take it anyway because this is their world. Okay, and the elect are not going to take it because they're covered. All right, with Yahweh Shemeshai's covering. This CHIP, whether it's a hand or the brain, right, is for you 2/3 and for you heathens. All right. So 10,000 people have signed up for it. Now let's read a little bit. Supposed to show that Revelation 13:16 coming into full effect, and we're just around the corner from going on, man. Neuralink's brain CHIPs have already been tested on people with paralysis to help them control computers through their thoughts. Yeah. And in the movie, what's it called again? X-Men. Who controls people's thoughts? Was it the guy with the Mac? Was it not Mac? Was it Magneto? No, no. What's the other one called again? The one in the wheelchair. The one in the wheelchair, man. Whatever his name was. You know the one I'm talking about. The one in the wheelchair. There's only one in the wheelchair, right? He controls people's thoughts. So Esau knows this kind of spiritual power the elect are going to have, so he tries to mimic it. While giving you regular humans, the option of utilizing something like this in the near future, right? Whether it's a necessity or not. Okay, let's see what they say. Elon Musk's, when I'm saying necessity or not, meaning necessity if you've got a disability or not, if you're just a regular so-called person in speech marks, right? And you just want to enhance yourself, right? The same way women enhance themselves with, women that are, haven't been blessed with a nice rack, or they don't have a backside, they don't have, a nice feminine female type figure, they're too fat or whatever, right? They can enhance themselves, move fat from here to there, and add artificial parts. Same way with men. Men take steroids or whatever because their test levels are low, or they're getting older. They want to keep their muscle gains that they gained when they were in their teens and their 20s or whatever, and they still want to have that 21-year-old physique. They want to do things to themselves to enhance themselves. Right? This is just another level up from that. All right, and people are gonna want to enhance themselves. It's the next level. Like X-Men would say, it's the next level of evolution. Okay, but the next level of natural super evolution is for the Israelites, the elect. All right, not for you heathens. You heathens can try with your CHIPs and all that, but it ain't gonna, work out for you very well. All right, once those sores kick in. But anyway, Elon Musk's brain CHIP startup Neuralink has a backlog of 10,000 people hoping to get the brain computer interface implanted in their skull. The company's president has said. Neuralink opened a patient registry on its website earlier this year, 2025, of course, allowing people around the world to sign up for trials of the technology. We know about the 12 that they've already tried, and a further 13 are lined up by the end of this year. I'll just paraphrase all that. Here's the one. Only people living with paralysis from conditions like motor neuron disease or a spinal cord injury currently qualify for the trials. However, Mr. Musk claims that future iterations of the brain CHIP will offer people without disabilities to achieve a sort of symbiosis with artificial intelligence, which ultimately basically means that they want man merged with machine. All right. Okay. Which is another one of Esau's splicing, with it in a technological way. That's why they make the sick ass movies like Splice. If you've seen that movie, it's disgusting. All right. Fucking nasty shit. All right. Pardon my French there. The tech billionaire also says future capabilities could include streaming music directly to the brain, restoring vision for blind people. See, what did the Lord do? Didn't he restore vision to the blind? Right? Isn't that made mockery of? Didn't the Lord walk on water? Aren't the elect going to do greater things? Right? Didn't the Lord speak with people? Didn't the Lord, could read people's minds and thoughts and stuff? All these kind of spiritual powers have been shown already, right? And greater ones to come also, right? So what's Esau trying to do here? Mimic the Most High. But the Lord's going to bring these devil down, man. The tech billionaire also says future capabilities could include streaming music directly to the brain, restoring vision for blind people, and enabling superhuman levels of communication through telepathy. All right, and they got those fucking super soldiers as well. That movie Captain America ain't just made for just sheer entertainment. There's deeper shit to that. They got the Iron Man suits. They got the Tony Starks out there for real. All right. What they show you in real time on these news documentary type channels is only just a tip of the iceberg. They're not going to show you. They're probably showing you something that they made 50 years ago. The shit they got now is literally what you're going to think is from some kind of alien-based type movie. It's gonna look like that. But as mentioned, man, the Lord's gonna bring this devil down, man. The creation cannot take on the creator. All right, that's what these devils think. It could even get to the point where you can upload your memories and essentially have saved version of yourself, then download that into a robot body or a clone version of your original self, Mr. Musk said during a live stream in July. You know, if you die, you can create, have a clone version of yourself. Or I see some sick shit, man. And these devils want to keep themselves going, I guess, because they don't want to go into slavery. But that's not going to happen. You're gonna feel that pain, man. You devils are gonna feel that pain. Neuralink co-founder and president DJ Seo, or SEO, or SEO, whatever is how you pronounce his name, revealed the size of the company's waiting list in a research report issued by Morgan Stanley this week, which also warned of the ethical implications of the technology. All right, and you know Morgan Stanley. You know these household type names, right? Who they're owned by. Need I say more? Okay. You want to say small, and what's the next word? Starts with a H. Small what? Right. While the topic of many sci-fi books and films, brain-computer interfaces are the new frontier for humanity and will entail a host of moral, ethical, and legal regulatory considerations along the way, it's stated. I wonder how the compliance managers are gonna they're gonna bypass all these laws anyway, man, about regulations and shit. You know, where to show you some regular person, man, enhanced, leaping over walls and you know doing some crazy Captain America shit. People are going to line up, man. People, especially people that got money, then people might start taking out loans to become that way, you know. And then when the financial crash happens, man, and then the ESO might say, "Oh, those that want to do trials for the brain CHIP and however they're going to say, or the complete CHIP, which will cover your enhancements, your brain, and your finances. Come and line up. The first, like a club, the first 500 women free. They're going to say, oh, the first 500,000 patients free, subject to consideration, something like that. These devils there's all sorts of options these devils are going to use, but we'll see how the Lord Yahweh Shemeshai does it. But this is a great sign that we're closer to the end. I this news came out on Friday, but I just caught wind of it. Brakti Halbashim Yashai. I believe one of the brothers from Great Millstone Channel made the video, and then I saw Saints of Jersey. I didn't watch the video yet. I just saw the title. I said, "Damn, really beautiful." You know what I mean? Then I found it, and the funny thing is, this isn't like all over YouTube, as far as I know, because I chucked it in the search engine, and all came out was like one or two or maybe three. Say what? Three articles, man. One was on Yahoo, one was on the Independent. It must have been out. It's probably out there more now, right? But as the news spreads, but it's not, because this is such a big deal. You would think that it'd be all over YouTube, but you know, I guess the people need to need to catch wind of it, But it's going to spread now. But the fact of the matter is that the Lord is working, man. All right. Now let's go to that scripture, which is anything else I need to read? Yeah, 1 John 5:19. Okay, for the elect. And we know that we are of the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yashai, and we know that we are of God, the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yashai, and the whole world lieth in wickedness. Indeed, they do. And those wicked are going to get caught in these traps and snares and gins. All right. The elect are not. The elect. We're in this week. I say we. I'm saying hopeful elect. The elect are in this weak flesh, so the elect may go through, their backs and forths and butterflies in the stomach, but there's something, the conviction of Yahweh Hashem and the confidence is going to be there to get them through, man. That's why you elect go through what you go through daily, man. And on a daily, does the Lord get you through? You wake up in the morning and think, man, how am I going to get through the day? And then as soon as you just even think something like that, a scripture comes to mind, or Yahweh Hashem gives it a little gentle, may I say, a little knock on the head saying, hello, I'm here, you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right, man. Elect are going to be good. Revelation 13, 16, 17, and 18, King James Version. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. The word mark there is charagmaa, which means insertion, etching, or cutting into the flesh. If you go to the blue letter, and now the whole world is using blue letter now, after the apostles and elders have been using it now, utilizing it, And the blue letter is an excellent tool, by the way, man. The men of the Lord have been using it, so the rest of us students have started using it. Yes, I used it in yesterday's video, but I need to get better at using it, But yeah, the word mark, right? In if you read Revelation 36, where it says receive a mark, that's charagmaa, all right? And without that mark, you won't be able to buy or sell, because isn't everything going paperless? Isn't everything going digital? Didn't they get rid of large denominations of money? Aren't they showing that already in their movies that money ain't going to be king no more? Cash ain't king no more. All right? You see the I Am Legend, Will Smith running into the bank trying to save his dog, runs into the damn bank. What do you see? Stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks of cash in a world where it doesn't matter anymore. All right? Because once the lights go out, this cash ain't going to be king no more. It's going to be digital. So how are you going to buy or sell? Verse 18, here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. For it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. And that's already on the barcodes. Especially in the UK here. Usually you see a barcode of 6 at the start, 6 in the middle, 6 at the end. Right? And I'm sure that that method is universal, whether you see the 666 there or not. Whether it can only be seen under certain, I don't know, lasers or scanners or whatever, I don't know. But they're in most barcodes as well. All right? So that cash ain't going to be king no more. Okay? Once that button is switched off of this world, this current system, that money is cash is not going to be king anymore, man. All right? So we are approaching that time, man. So this is a good sign. Okay? Revelation 12, verse 12. Okay? The devil knoweth he hath but a short time. All right? So time is short. So you hope for elect. Elder Apostle Tahar did say in the spirit power of Yahweh Shemashah, the elect are sealed. All right? Lord willing, they are. Right? But this truth is spreading, and it's a good thing. And we're going home soon, man. So any of you sincere people, Israelites, that want to learn, subscribe to the men of the Lord, the men of Great Millstone, our teachers, our apostles on down, elder bishops, prophets, all excellent teachers. Obviously, we all got our favorites, and the spirit vibes with those elders or prophets, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Subscribe. And for you heathens, if you want to subscribe also, so you can know your outcome. Put it this way, you heathens will be in a better position than your counterparts, because at least you know that you have a short time to enjoy the last few hours that you have of this kingdom, because after this, you're going to slavery. All right? And prior to those chains being wrapped on you or whacked on you, however you want to say it, or put on you, right? Before you embrace those chains, and I'm not talking about gold or silver, I'm talking about iron, rusty metal, right? Heavy, right? It's going to feel like you're wearing tons around your neck and ankles and wrists. Before they're slapped on you, right? You're going to go through hell prior to that. So while you have this world that's semi-normal but it's slipping away, you better call your dealers up and get those hardcore DRUGs that you like, DRUGSs that you like, do your thing, man, do a Wolf of Wall Street thing, because it's going to be your last hoorah. But anyway, for you hopeful elect, subscribe, learn, and be edified. All right, as Elder Apostle Gabar would say, subscribe to our elders and prophets. They are the men of the Lord. All right, so time is short. We're going home soon. The Lord is working. Barakti Yahweh B'Hashem Yahshai. Kal halalim la'abanawa Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai B'Hashem Rakakadash. Mawatha Ba'ad Wabal. Kwam Yashrala. Shalom.